Welcome to 5 Minutes in the Word, a daily devotional in the Word of God. Mr. Gary, this time of year, we're all thinking about Thanksgiving. We're thinking about this time of year where families usually come together to just remember the things they're thankful for. And oftentimes you'll see people for the entire month of November, they'll just start a list. And for every day of November, they'll list one thing they're thankful for. Today, I want us to look at what are we thankful for as Christians? And as we were discussing moments ago, we're thankful for our life. Just the fact that we are alive, and that's something that we really need to be thankful for, because without our life, without especially the life that we have, we would be nothing, and we would have no hope, we would have no future. And so you look at this, and in Acts chapter 17, you have Paul, and he's there before those men at Athens, and he sees they're very religious, and in fact he comments on that, and he says, basically paying them a compliment. I see you're very religious because of all the idols and all the little g gods that they were serving, but he wanted to talk to them about the one true God. And in fact, the people there in Athens, they even had an altar, an idol to the unknown God. And so he's like, I'm going to use this to help me make my illustration, to make my point here. And so he talks to them about this unknown God, really the true God of heaven. And as he's talking to them, he appeals to their religious nature, but then he goes on and he talks about our God, and he says this in verse 24: the God who made the world and everything in it, being Lord of heaven and earth, does not live in temples made by man, nor is he served by human hands as though he needed anything, since he himself gives to all mankind life and breath and everything. And he made from one man every nation of mankind to live on the face of the earth, having determined allotted periods and the boundaries of their dwelling place, that they should seek God and perhaps feel their way toward him and find him. Yet he is actually not far from each of us, for in him we live and move and have our being. It says, as even some of your poets have said, for we are indeed his offspring. We see that the God we serve, that he has given us the ability to live, to breathe, to have our reason for even being here. And that's the God that we serve. And so when we say, what are we thankful for? I'm thankful for, yes, God. I'm thankful for the life that he has given me. It's just the breath that's in my lungs, the life, the blood that I have flowing through my body. But I'm also giving for the life that I am able to live, the life that I'm able to wake up to every morning, because with that there's just so many possibilities. Mr. Gary, how would you describe this as far as talking about God and what we're thankful for?
Well, you're right. We obviously need to be thankful for our life. We need to be thankful for every aspect of it. You kind of remind me of a fellow in Mobile, Alabama. We called him Coach Bob because he at one time coached semi-pro women's softball.
Right.
Neat guy, and he'd had 2 major heart attacks. So when I'd walk up to the church building and say, "Hey, Coach Bob, how are you doing today?" He'd say, "Great, I got up today." So we ought to be thankful for that we got up. But it's more than that. Jesus in the Sermon on the Mount warns us effectively, or tells us, hey, just deal with today.
Right.
Quit trying to deal with everything else. And the reality is that God blesses us every day.
He does.
Of all places to find this, in the middle of Lamentations, where Jeremiah and the people are weeping,
right,
because they're going into captivity, we find Jeremiah in verse 22 of chapter 3 saying, "Through the Lord's mercies we are not consumed, because his compassions fail not. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness." Every day when we get up, the first thing we need to do is to be thankful for our blessings. And you've told us, reminded us, one of the greatest blessings we have of all is just life.